Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. Ooh, baby, it just keeps getting better and better and better. Week after week after week, I have the most phenomenal guest experts that come on this show. I interview experts from all over the world. And tonight we have a very special guest, and he is head of a company that does something that's very near and dear to my heart because it's such a needed asset. It's such a needed service for so many of us small business owners who are looking for ways to work with more productivity and get higher results as when we're done with certain things. We're going to get into the details. I'm being coy on purpose here. The Mind Body Business Show, what is that all about? Well, in my 55 years on this planet, the last decade or so, I began studying just successful people, only successful people. And the reason was I wanted to find out what made them successful. And what I started realizing was that patterns started bubbling up to the top. They kept developing over and over. The same thing I found was true of all these successful business people and entrepreneurs. And it came into the area of 3 different patterns. As you may guess by now, that would be mind, which is mindset. Mindset is having a powerful and flexible mindset. Each and every one of these successful people had mastered that. And then body. That's literally about taking care of yourself physically, externally, and internally by exercising on a regular basis and by eating and drinking healthy. And then there's business. Now, business is multifaceted. And most people getting started in business focus solely on that and completely neglect mind and body. And here's the thing. The mind and body are a team. And more importantly, they are your team. And so think about this. If one player on a team is not performing at their highest peak potential, then the team as a whole will suffer, won't it? So if you master both mind and body, and then you master business, now you have an all-star team. And business, that's everything from marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, scaling. The list goes on and on. Leadership. The good news is that you don't have to be a master at every skill set in business. And the reason is because all you need to really master is leadership. Once you've done that, you can then delegate to those who have those skill sets in place already. And that is what successful people do. That's what I learned in this decade of studying successful people. And my guest that's coming on is no different. And another great quality I found in very successful people is, to a person, they are very, very avid readers. And with that, I'd like to segue very briefly to a segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yeah, there you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com on the side of the screen for those of you watching live. And here's one thing I'd like to point out before we go any farther is do yourself a favor. And as resources are being mentioned, like reachyourpeaklibrary.com, for instance, rather than give in to the temptation of typing it in and going and finding it online while the show is on, rather than do that, I would recommend that you do something a little bit more old-fashioned. That is, take out, one of these. If you may recall, that is a piece of paper. And there's this other thing, it's called a writing instrument, a pen. And that is, take notes and stay with us. Because here's the thing, if you're taking notes and the show is still playing in front of you, you're paying attention, you're going to retain more. And here's the thing, the magic happens in the room. I've spoken from stage many times, and I've seen when students or attendees would get up and leave, right as I know I'm going to one of the most important parts of the actual presentation. And I feel horrible knowing that they're going to miss probably the best part. They might miss that one nugget that could make the difference for them in their life and their family going forward. And so with a guest like we have on here with Jason Anderson, you are not going to want to miss a single word of this gentleman because he has that level of success that many aspire to achieve. And that's what he's here for on this show. I brought him here to divulge his secrets. How did he become successful? and to share it with you so that you can do the same. It's phenomenal. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a website I literally put together with you in mind. And I am not kidding when I say that. This was not done for me. What it is a collection of books that I personally have read that have had incredible, profound effect on my life, either in business or personal. And so what I found is often I would go to friends, I would go and listen to other podcasts and get my recommendations through those. And now I decided to compile a list all in one place so you can just go to it and know that it was at least vetted by one other very successful entrepreneur. And the great thing is every time without fail, when I scroll through these books, the guest speaker that comes on later says, I remember that book. I read that book. I read this book. I read that book. Yeah, they're that good. So go ahead, write that down, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a resource, a gift to you. It is not a money-making website in the least. It's all those links are to Amazon, so you can go buy that book. And again, I've read every single one of them, so I would not ever put anything there that I wouldn't promote anything that I personally don't use or haven't used in the past. All right. So speaking of success, I think it's time for Brian to stop blabbing for a little bit, and let's bring on the man of the hour, Mr. Jason Anderson. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Mr. Jason Anderson. Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
The crowd goes wild. You can hear him. Fantastic, Jason. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, especially with the circumstances. Yeah, this almost feels like the Today Show, man. This is great. I love this. The Today Shows, they're doing this right now. Everybody's at home anyways. It feels exactly like this. This is great.
Man, I better talk to those people. They're copying me.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, before I formally introduce you, Jason, to this wonderful group of folks that are watching us live and those that are listening later on podcast, I wanted to remind everybody, we do this every single show, is stay on to the end. If you're watching live, stay on to the end, because I will reveal how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, all compliments of our pals at powertexting.com. Every single show, we give a vacation away. And don't worry, very soon you will be able to take that vacation and get out of the house. And the beautiful thing is you could be that person that has a vacation in the hand, that when the veil is open and we're allowed to move freely about the country and the world, you'll be one of the first to say, see ya. And everyone else will be looking at you. How'd you do that? So stay on to the end. I cannot wait to see who wins. It's a random draw, and stick around. So now let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself. Jason Anderson is the founder of the Video Buddy, which is a service that helps entrepreneurs and small businesses with video-centric content when creative editing is the bottleneck. Ooh, that one hits home. He's also the CEO of iMotion Video Corp, which has produced over 10,000, far more than that now, individual motion graphic videos for businesses worldwide since 2010. So he's not a Johnny come lately. He's been at this for a long time. Jason's focus and passion clearly revolves around effective communication, sales, and business development through the use of creative video production. With that, please help me welcome Mr. Jason Anderson to the stage.
Hey, we have an applause button.
Hey, that's
for you, not for me. For you.
Oh, no. For you all the way. This show, by the way, is about Jason. And that's why I love to showcase people like Jason. He's an amazing guy. He's done it. He's walked the walk, not just talk the talk. And he's here to share with you not only how he achieved success, but also help to give you some resources that will help you along the way to get you to that level he is at. It's going to be a phenomenal show, so stick with us. Comment, like, share, love, spread the word, because what else are we going to do tonight? We can't go anywhere at this point in time. Let's have a good time and share the love. How does that sound? So, Jason, one of the things I love to do, I love the bio, the intro to 10 years, very successful, lots of videos been created. You've done it. You're there, and you're succeeding, and you're growing even now. What I like to do is peel back the onion and find out what's going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours, because as I open the show with, mind is one of the foundations of success. and it is to a person who has achieved success. And what I wanted to find out from you, Jason, is when you get up in the morning and, you start to come to consciousness, and the day's in front of you. And it's like, okay, fantastic, another day. That's what most entrepreneurs who are successful are in that mode. For you, what is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you each and every morning to go through what we go through as entrepreneurs, which a lot of people think is easy? What is it that helps motivate you and drive you through each and every day as you get up and start the day?
I don't want to lose. I mean, honestly, I'm not doing this I'm doing it for the fun of it, but I'm not. This is a game. When you go play a game, if you're in sports, you want to win. If you are doing anything you want to do, you want to win at it. So, when I get up in the morning, a lot of times it's, it's more about what's going to happen for the, what are we doing in the morning is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. And so when I've got employees that I usually set up, and they start at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we don't have a briefing. I usually brief them in the evening so that we know what we're working on for the day, because we're doing lots and lots of videos for lots of clients, obviously. So we have to manage our time. But when I wake up, I know pretty much what's going on. I never really wonder what's happening with the day, right? It's just a matter of how do I work in other things is my biggest challenge, really. How do I work in more growth for myself while we're also trying to help with our client stuff, right?
Yeah, fantastic. I love the opening comment was, how do I win? It's just, I love the competitive juices, and that's, I got to tell you, I don't know of an entrepreneur that doesn't have those. That's successful. Let me add that caveat.
Well, right. You keep in mind though, too, as of late, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. And this is like, there's a lot of people that are worried, and, we're talking about success and all that stuff. And there are times where we have to learn to think about we need to calm our minds down, right? We need to understand that, that this is, a thing, we're not going to stop breathing, hopefully. Right. And there's a lot of unknowns, and there's a lot of things that are happening. And there's, I've also been hit by this, obviously, because there's a big domino effect that's going on where, if there's, one business isn't generating revenue, then of course we're servicing businesses. And so we're feeling this, I do have clients that are calling in saying, hey, listen, we need to pause. I'm going to need to I need to hold on. And so, again, when we wake up in the morning, you don't want to lose, right? It's the game. It's you're throwing a curveball, and we're kind of in a curveball right now. So I'm navigating it myself too. So I don't have the answers to them all, but I tell you, I do get up every day with the intention to win.
Fantastic. Hey, we got, I talked about, I interview entrepreneurs from all over the world. We also have guests from all over the world. So we have Eliza from the Philippines welcoming and saying hello to us both. Thank you, Eliza.
Hello, Eliza. Hi.
And we have another comment by John. He's asking a question that I will bring up in a moment, John. So stick with us. I'll put that up in a moment because I'm going to ask the exact same question. I am curious as well. We got astute audience members out there. I love it. I love it. I love it. So fantastic. It's about winning, and things are strange right now. And I've talked to a lot of people during this time. I'm sure everyone has. And it's interesting how there is either people are kind of struggling or they're crushing it. There doesn't seem to be, I don't see much of a in-between ground. And others, some people have been laid off from work. Others are already prepared to work this way. And I want to talk to you about that, Jason, because of what we talked about before coming on the air. And it's an amazing thing that, if you are an entrepreneur to the core, these are the times you look for opportunity. And it's not to disrespect what's going on with people at all. I want to be very clear about that. But there is opportunity in any crisis. That is when the biggest of the biggest companies rise to the top. I mean, there's a bunch of them, and they're all escaping me. Uber is one of them. They rose during a crisis as well. And so there are many skills that it takes to become an entrepreneur, Jason, as you are so well aware. There's so many questions I have for you and just our brief chat right before we went on the air. But for those listening, it takes so many skills to become an entrepreneur and to become a successful one. From your vantage point, where you are right now in your position, in your company, what would you say are the top 3 skills necessary to become a successful entrepreneur, and then keep elevating that?
To become one now, during, or like in general?
In general, yeah.
Well, honestly, you have to, I mean, entrepreneurs have to have drive. They have to have, like we were talking about, what do you do? And, what drives you to get up in the morning to work? You have to have that drive to win, for one. And then also, as things happen, if things hit, when problems come, you need to have the persistence to keep it up. And so if you've got that drive to win and the persistence to keep going, even when things are really tough and not looking good, I think that's really those are 2 of the things that you need. But the third component, I would think, without this third one, I don't think anybody's going to be successful, is you need to have support, from your family, or from support has to come from somewhere. Support has to be, specifically for me, like I need the support of my employees. Without my employees, I would have to make a major pivot. Right. So, I have the drive and the commitment, and then, my employees, they rely on me and trust me to keep the things going so that they can continue working too. So I'd say that if I didn't have support, I'm only 1% of the success of, being in business for 10 years, without ever having to lay anybody off, doing over 10,000 videos, all these things that we continue to do. But without it, that's, 1% is my drive. I think 99% of it is the support that I get from everybody I get, including clients too. Like right now, COVID-19, some people are saying, hey, can I pause? And I'm saying, hey, can you not? And I say, if everybody pauses, I don't have a business, right? And a lot of them are saying, you know what, you're probably right. I think I can, we re-examine, why, what we're doing for them, and saying, can we stick with the game, or can we come up with certain things? So I have the support of, clients, of my employees who trust that, that they're still going to have a job tomorrow morning. My wife and family who, support what I do, working late. Sometimes, especially at the very beginning, until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, getting back up at 6 in the morning. So you have to have those 3 things.
Oh boy, I can so relate. That's why I'm chuckling over here. Oh my goodness, especially the last one, going to 2 or 3 in the morning, which still on occasion happens, but not as much as before. You just do what it takes when the time calls for it. Sure. That's the other thing that successful entrepreneurs such as yourself, you're go-getters, and you take care of business no matter what it is. You have to take care of it, and you do it with intelligence. You have to balance your life with your family, and give them the time that they deserve as well, which I learned that the hard way as well. It's something we all go through. It's not a perfect life, is it? I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and here's the guide. Here's step 1 through 10. I'll just follow steps and easy street.
I wish it was that way. I really do. But then again, if it was that way, then, I don't think that the rewards would be as high either, though. So we have a lot of risk.
Yes.
We're risk averse, I think, but, without that, without the drive and persistence, man, and then the support, it just, you've got to have that to have an option, make sure you've got those 3 pillars behind you. But you know what, here's the thing. What if people are thinking, well, I don't have the support? I think that, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're savvy, you've got to be able to, well, how do I garner that support? So, you've got to be a little bit of a salesperson too, in order to sell your vision. So, don't think that these all just come naturally to people. You've got to be able to, know what you need, and then make sure you work to make it happen. Really. There's no shortcut to that.
I mean, so true. I mean, what a great point about salesmen, because everyone, how many times have you heard this, Jason? Well, I don't want to do that. I'm not a salesperson. Every person to a person is a salesperson, because aren't you selling your significant other on what movie you're going to watch or what dinner you're going to eat? You're always selling, negotiating at all times. And just what Jason's talking about is refining that skill to where you can get your team to all come on board and be on the same page of music, so to speak, with you. And to that end, I was curious, how do you, Jason, it sounds like you have a very cohesive group. How do you go about finding people for your organization that truly care about your organization the same way that you do?
Well, that comes through just your, well, I hope my employees are watching this because I have to be careful here. Really, honestly, the reason I say I have to be careful is because, when we talk about salesmanship, leadership is salesmanship too. And you need to get buy-in from, again, your support, which is your family and your employees and stuff. So when we're finding people, don't get me wrong, I'll make some bad hires and find out that, after paying them payroll six weeks or even 6 months that, hey, it's just not working out. It's time to part ways. I think that, but once they're on, I think to get that buy-in, you have to have that leadership and you have to give them a reason why, though. I mean, honestly, they're not doing it because they're trying to support your company. In fact, if you think that anybody in your company is going to be more passionate than you are about your company, you're sadly mistaken. Okay. But you need to, don't expect that they're going to be that committed to your company. They're not the entrepreneur. They are the employee. They are, and there's differences between the mindset of an employee and entrepreneurs. Now, there's a lot of employees that are just at their job, and they're not empowered to really to make that company succeed because they are using that as leverage to become an entrepreneur. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that either, right? So, if I have an employee that I know is probably more entrepreneurial driven than they are employee driven, but they don't have the leverage yet. Maybe they don't have the income level, or there's something missing that they're not able to start a business on their own. I don't shy away from hiring those people either, because a lot of times they can become leaders and then buy into your company vision and say, you know what, I don't need to be an entrepreneur because I'm getting what I need internally because I'm allowed to lead internally, my own team. So I think I forgot what the question was and where we're at.
That was phenomenal because that everything you just said is so powerful for people to understand. The only way you're going to grow a business is to scale it, and to scale it, you need that support that Jason so aptly pointed out is one of the 3 top skills necessary to become successful in business. Because at some point, as a solopreneur, you're going to reach that breaking point where you're going to start burning out because there's so much to do. As your business grows, you got to have the help, and think about that when you start. Don't wait too long. Think about it. Doesn't mean you have to start doing it right away because, of course, you need the income to help pay for the help, but always have that ready to go. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Here's a great question from one of our viewers, Budika. He said, hey, Jason, when do you know to hire your first employee and why? I am a video producer too, by the way.
Well, I knew immediately how to hire my first employee. Believe it or not, I am not a video producer, or I'm not a video editor. I'm a producer. And there's a difference. A producer has the vision, and puts things together in the direction of the film or the commercial or the video or something like that. And then, of course, you've got the video editor who's has the skills to actually make your vision come true. So for me, I knew I had employees from day one. So I built my business based upon not starting from a freelance type of arrangement like many people in the video industry start off as, and then they start hiring junior producers junior editors under them, and then get them trained. And it's a very slow road, especially if depending on what you're charging. But me, I knew immediately. So I don't think I'd be qualified to tell you as a freelancer when it's time to hire somebody, but I will give you some advice based upon hiring, is that that the minute you have an extra dollar in your pocket is the time that you should start considering to hire somebody, because hiring in itself is a skill, right? You need to learn how to how to interview people and how to find out if the skills that they can bring to the table are actually going to translate into production for yourself too. Now, being a video producer, if you're going to hire a junior editor, you probably are in a better position than I am to determine if that editor that you are hiring, a junior editor, is any good, right? When I first started, it took me a while to recognize what was good and what's not, what to expect as far as turn time on certain things. I've got some video editors that, a certain task might take one video editor on my team an hour, and it might take another video editor on my team 3 hours to do the same thing, right? And of course, it's an art. So when you're hiring people, you need to know, what kind of performance expectations you need to do. But I would say that, long story short, that you need to, once you have any ability to hire, like as far as cash flow, do it. And even if they don't last, it's going to be a good experience for you, so that your next hire is even better. I have the luxury of having a wife who has a job, right? So if I can literally pay myself a zero salary, which I have for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, I don't even officially still, after 10 years, take a salary. I'll take, an annual bonus, but I don't take I'm able to live off of my wife, right? For groceries and mortgage and rent, and for all the necessities of living. So with me, I'm spending, every dollar I get is going back into the business. And so if you can afford it, then do it.
Wow, there was so much there. I mean,
it was,
especially, and that's fantastic. Especially the most important part of this is the key to success is live off your wife. I'm kidding. That was awesome.
Joanne Anderson, you're my hero. Thank you.
But everything you said rings so true. Reinvesting, that's what I do too. I mean, very little money hits my pocket. It's always right back out to the next thing that will potentially help me and my company be more productive. And so eventually, I'll be able to just sit back and take in massive profits and not have to continually reinvest all the time. But I think you should always reinvest and continue to improve. That's just what makes entrepreneurs go around. I wanted to bring up a comment earlier by, I got to put this one up there. John, do I detect a Canadian accent with you? No, I'm sorry. I'm not from Canada. I don't know where that came from. That's pretty cool, though. I do talk with Canadians on occasion and love them. They're awesome. But no, But the question John was asking that I really wanted to bring up is kind of an opening to you and your company, what you do, Jason. And John was asking, what exactly does your company do with video? And if you wouldn't mind, I know that's a kind of a casting a broad net, but
it is. Well, I'll give a very Reader's Digest version. Where we've evolved into a lot of stuff. I deal mainly with people that are doing social. I deal with social media video, people that are small businesses that need to publish a lot of content from, things like interviews like this live podcast right here that's going on. It's probably going to be an hour long after it's done. I'll have my team chop up everything from here. I'll be able to turn this into 15 different videos that I'll be able to repurpose. So we do a lot of, we work with smaller companies that don't necessarily have the budget to hire a full-time staff or a video department, right? That's why we call it Video Buddy. If you had a video buddy and you're a business person, what would you have that video person do? And if that would free your time up and so you could post more, then what exactly would that entail? And that could be 100 different things. It just depends on, the skill level of that video editor. So that's what we do, is we pretty much free up the time of anybody who understands that they need to have a lot of video-centric content, but they don't have the time to go down the rabbit hole of actually going through and doing it themselves, and giving them the direction to continually post on their social.
Yeah, and there's so much more, that does it more justice than that was what you were telling me before we came on. And I want to help make sure people understand that it's not just video editing by itself. It's video editing with intention, the way that you have your team do it. They understand how to look for those aha moments and highlight them. For instance, take a long video and pull out the sizzle reel components, if you will, that will really catch the eye and ear of those watching on social media. So it's, he's been doing this for 10 years, him and his crew, and it goes far beyond just the mechanical part of editing a video. Is that accurate?
It is, yeah. And so the reason why I named it the service Video Buddy is because, and I had my phone on silence, and here we go, is because of the fact that, people, they don't necessarily know what they want, and they need to have a little bit of direction as well. So if you've got a team behind you, then, and that has worked with other people. And then you can say, listen, I did this podcast, or I want to shoot this. I shot this video series outside, and I want to, do a speaker reel or something like that. How do we put it together? If you can have a 10-minute conversation on the phone with somebody and say, listen, why don't you do this, this, and that? Just load it up to Dropbox, and I'll have my team handle it. Great, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. That's what the video buddy is. I don't really want to put myself into a corner, like I said, Brian. That's exactly. We don't just do social video. We do like sales videos. Some people do PowerPoint videos that we'll clean up and take them way up to the next level. And we're not doing PowerPoint. We're taking the recording, the audio that they did, and maybe some of their slides, but we're adding in a bunch of other pizzazz to make it look totally different. And so it just depends on what they need, right? So again, it's just it's all over the board. And so we work a little bit differently than a freelancer, because we work, as Brian, you said, we were able to tell a story, but it's, before we, went live, you and I were talking, and, there's the skill level of one, like outsourcer, like a freelancer. You will only have the skill level of that one person. Well, I've got video editors that they have different skills, but together as a team, we have the skill to get the whole project done. So like a guy who's really good at animation and After Effects and things like that, he might not be very good at, coming up with a story, or how, puzzling the story, what needs to go where you've got maybe a video editor that understands storytelling and maybe how to put it together, like a Nightline story or Dateline or something like that, right? And then we use the skills of the video compositor, the After Effects guy, to help the rough cut, the guy that knows how to put the story together. He might not be that skilled in animation, but together, you put them together, we're able to come up with an end product that's phenomenal, right? So, I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's usually the reaction that we get, depending on how long we have to create these projects and stuff. But we don't rely on just the skill level of one person.
Yeah, please toot away, because I'm getting excited. I love video. I love everything about it except editing. I can't stand editing. It takes forever, and that's something that everyone should. That is probably, if not, it should be one of the highest level things that you want to outsource first, because it is the biggest time suck of everything I've ever done in my business. Is if I do that by myself, I'm like, oh my God, that takes up an entire day to do like a 1 hour video. If you want to edit out the ums and ahs and imperfections and put in a good intro, a good outro, all those things, it can take a long time if you're doing it by yourself. And, no matter what the fee is that anyone charges, including Jason, consider what it would cost to pay someone to do that in your own organization, and make that comparison. And then how many videos are you going to need, and how often? So what is that model with your company, Jason? How many videos can a company throw at you at a time? And is there a time limit? Those kind of things.
Well, the Video Buddy service itself is, I stole the idea actually I didn't come up with this idea of this business model. What I did is I was at a conference. Ryan Dice had a commerce, and it was the first year that he did it. It was not the traffic conversion, but it was at Orlando, when I was still in Orlando, and there was this company that was like the platinum sponsor there, and they were Design Pickle, and it was they had pickles everywhere, and it was a design company. It says unlimited graphic design for your company for this ridiculously stupid cheap price. And I was like, that is a brilliant idea. Oh my God. And so I said, what if we were able to try to do that? And it's difficult because, as you were just talking about, Brian, video editing is, I dare to say, a little bit more complex than graphic design. Now, I'm not saying that the skill level isn't, I wouldn't say that you're more skilled if you're a video editor or video compositor. I just think that there's a lot more moving parts to video than there is to graphic design. And so we toyed with the idea of, how do we just, if we're like a normal company, do we wait for people to say, hey, Jason, I've got a video project here. How much would you charge me to do this? We attempted to do that before, and there's no way to scale. You can't keep employees on, salaried employees on if you don't have that consistent work. It's the feast and famine type thing. And I really like the design pickle concept. So I said, let's try to figure out a way. And of course we had to, from scratch, we had to figure out how to do it. But I do owe a lot of the original idea to the guys at Design Pickle. And thank you for coming up with that business model, because that's what I did. And now what we do is we work with companies where we will basically embed with your small business, whether you've got 10 employees, 1 employee, 100 employees, and we'll be your instant video department, where we work on your stuff every single day that you're a client. It's always a flat rate. And we start at $1,500 a month to work with us. And right now there's no contracts. So you could do a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. And of course we start, we've got other price points, but most people, the entrepreneur type level, would fit within that range. So that's what we've been doing. It's just basically, to answer the question is how much can you get done? Well, it just depends on how much we can get done on a daily basis. How many business days are there in a month? There's generally 21 business days in a month. So how much can we get done during that 21 days? We can stack up several projects, and it might take us 3 days on one project and 2 days on the other, and then another project takes 2 weeks, 2 solid weeks. Depending on revisions, all sorts of stuff. But if you've got a department that's working on stuff back and forth collaboratively that you've got access to, and then you can also even put a pause on something. Say we're working on, we're editing this video here. We took this recording of this podcast. We're trying to make what we call snackables, right? Small, 90-second to 3-minute videos from this interview right here to come up with, maybe 5, 10, 15 different videos. We'll say we're working on this, and then you've got something that's coming up that takes more precedence, and you give me a call and say, hey, let's put a pause on that. Let's start working on this. Then we just put that aside. And it's basically, if you had access to a video buddy that you could call every single day and have them work on your stuff, that's what Video Buddy is.
That's phenomenal. It's like an extension of your team.
It's really a department in your business, whether you're a one-man band or you got 10 employees. Just tack on another department. And I'm the department head. Basically, I'll be your chief video guy, whatever you want to call that, right? Well, think about this too. There's this thing called fractional CFOs, right? Fractional C-level people. Well, I've never really put it this way on paper, but think of us as your fractional video company, your fractional video department.
Yeah, I love it. That's phenomenal. You should coin that term.
I think it's probably been coined already.
But a lot of people, they didn't like fractions growing up, so maybe a different word. Yeah. But this is very intriguing. So as just an example, you probably have an idea, and if you don't, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but this is an hour-long show. And what you have in your mind for editing it when it's done, what would that typically take once it hits the hands of your team to complete as far as time?
That's probably the most common question I get, and I can never answer it. It just depends. It depends on how particular you are. Depends on how fancy you want things to be. It depends if, some people are like, hey, Jason, I need this done by tomorrow. I'm like, then this is going to be a very basic video, but it's going to be, we'll edit it down and, get rid of the ums and all that stuff, but there's not going to be a fancy thing. It's not uncommon for us to work for an entire week on a 10-second logo reveal for somebody that wants to have their branding dialed in, right? Or we could get, I've got my video guy who's really good at it. It only takes him 2 hours. We would take a lot of new hires or even people that are experienced. I mean, this guy's been with me, Dan, my production manager. He's been with me. What takes him 2 hours, even like the most experienced guys in Hollywood, sometimes he's faster and better than them. So it's hard to tell, how much you can get done in a certain amount of time, because it really depends on the skill level of who's doing it, And so we have varying levels of skill levels internally. And the good thing is you never get the drama of people calling in sick. You don't get the drama of people, all this other stuff. We just have to perform, right? So to answer your question, it really depends on the level of, how much time do you have? And then we try to budget in the time to get something done within that amount of time. Now, obviously, since we're a fractional company, right? So, we're not working on your stuff 8 hours a day. So say, for example, if you were a client, and you were to say, listen, can I get this done tomorrow? I'd be like, well, it depends on how many people are we going to be working on tomorrow? Because not everybody, we have this thing called breakage too, in this business model. It's very interesting. So if you've got other video editors listening, consider this business model, because it's really helped me out to be flat rate and to do this rather than charge, per project, because you never have to worry about scope. I never say no to a project. Somebody says, can you make Star Trek for me? Yes. How long is it going to take me? I don't know. How much is it going to cost me? $1,500 a month, right? So it would probably take us a lot longer, because it takes them a year and a half sometimes just to get those things. Sometimes even longer. How long did it take Toy Story to make? It was like 5 years. Of course, they didn't have the technology that they have now, but they've developed it. But we've got a little more power now. But it's I would say the typical project, though, of where we're coming up with snackables of like long form. This is what 99% of the stuff we're doing, at least over the past year, is snackable content for social media, where we're taking long form content like this, like we're watching right now. It's either video by podcasts or presentations or people like speakers that are on stage, things like that, where we're taking something that's already been recorded, and we're finding maybe 10 to 15 separate videos that are anywhere from 90 seconds to 3 minutes long. We're cutting these down. We can have like intro, like an ending sequence, an animated ending sequence with a call to action. I would say we can produce probably anywhere between 5 to 15 videos a week for the typical business.
Wow. That is phenomenal.
That's why we've got over 10,000 videos under our belt.
Yeah, definitely. So you're just like a video editing factory.
Yes, and we can slow it down though too, because sometimes once you get going, and it is for all you video editors that are listening, this does sound good, but keep in mind it's tough on the brain for the video editor here. If you're working as an employee of mine, you're probably working with anywhere from 4 to 7 separate, completely different projects, completely different clients with completely different demands every single day. So this is not a cakewalk. My employees are living the dream as far as doing what they want. I mean, this is what everybody who I hire is doing video editing and compositing, because that's what they love to do. They love that creative part. But at the same time, when we turn it into a business though, and we're doing it the way we're doing fractional time for our clients collectively, there's a lot of pressure on getting stuff done. And there are times when we're just doing like the video editing isn't always about doing like fancy stuff. A lot of times it's about just doing it and taking the time that it takes, the boring shit, if I can say that on your show, right? Just the completely boring, time consuming stuff that, hey, thanks for getting that done, because I just didn't have time to do it, but now I can post it and it's done, right? I don't need a fancy, just give me some good cuts, find the mic drop moments, and I don't care about an ending, no call to action. I'll handle all that. Just get me 5 or 10 videos, and if you get that by tomorrow, that would be great. Okay, cool, we're on, boss. So, and then others are like, hey, I want my branding perfect. I want the same font every single time. These are the only colors that I want. These are the only fonts that you can use. I never want any jump cuts. They all have to be fades. Whatever their particular expectations are, then that's what we kind of, go through. So
it's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Everybody's different.
If you're a business owner and you're listening, watching this, and you've not edited a video before, well, the first time you do, you'll realize I'm going to call Jason and his team because it is a laborious task. And for you to find people who love it and are passionate about it, God bless them. Oh my goodness. That is a rare breed as far as what in my circles, right? Many people I'm sure love doing that. It's not so much about what you love as a business owner like Jason. It's about how you can delegate and be more productive and work on your business instead of in your business, which he provides a service that allows you to do this. Now let's look at this, Jason, because what is the most on the rise prominent form of media today? We're doing it right now. It's live video.
I said when we started, I felt like I'm the Today Show, because if this looks and feels exactly like what's on TV now. Like before, people were like, this feels homegrown, but now because of everything that's going on, everybody's at home and all these, you've got the late night people that are doing stuff from home. I mean, this is going to be accepted more than ever. And so you're going to see a lot more businesses that you need to hop on and do this. Just turn your camera on and start shooting. And, you're going to do nothing but get better at it. You're probably going to feel a little bit weird at the very, if you've never done it before, but if you have editing behind it, you can have an editor make you look great, right? Or if you've got an editor, you don't have to worry about hitting the perfect phrase, right? We're live right now. If I mess up, I mess up. But if I was just recording, I could say, all right, okay, start over, all right, over, and then say that whole thing again, and my editors would know, okay, chop that part out, move on to the better take, right?
It's definitely an art form. It's a different art form to go live than it is to do a recording. That for sure, it's a whole different world, but it's not a scary one. It's just be yourself, be authentic, and make the mistakes. It's okay because you're live. You're a human being, and it's okay. If you're gonna make a sizzle reel and you want it to be perfect, you can do that by having your live edited by Jason and his crew. They'll pick out all the imperfections and make you look like a superstar. Right. And the point I wanted to make is video is it. It is the king. And it has been for some time, even before this little closure we've hit has happened. It has been on the rise. YouTube is, I'm seeing more people make an entire living from recorded video than I've ever seen before, because video is the best transport of information. And then go to live video. I call live video the genesis of all marketing, because you can't go any farther back. Live is as far back as you can go. You cannot repurpose, for instance, a podcast that's audio only into a video. And you can't repurpose a recorded video really into a real live video, one that was done live. You can do watch parties and things like that. But I think you get what I mean. The starting point of all marketing, you can't go any farther to the left than you can with live video. So I'm just imploring those that if you're not doing video now, deeply consider doing live video and get off the hump and start making that happen.
I don't, and I need to. I mean, I really do. I'm a video guy. Why wouldn't I? Well, I think the reason why is because for me, it's always, and this probably for your listeners too. It's another rabbit hole too to figure out. So, but we were talking before this, and you were making it sound pretty darn easy. So I'm going to look into it.
Oh yeah, and I wasn't talking to you specifically, John. I was actually talking to the audience. You provide the service that will help me to repurpose after it's done. And oh my gosh, what a godsend this was going to be. This was not directed at you at all. You have your core competency. You have a thriving, successful business. If it makes sense for you to add live to it, then fine. But if you're doing fine and the marketing is going well, there's really not everybody needs it, especially.
I need it. Okay. I do.
And we can help you. I can help you on that. I don't like to promote anything of my own on this show, but it's a perfect time to bring it up. I'm actually putting together and completing an info product, and it's called Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. So it's a metaphor, so don't get crazy out there. But it's all about starting with the genesis of live and then repurposing it all the way through, even into written form, to many, many, many platforms, and all the automation that goes behind it that now Mr. Anderson is very privy to with all the emails and things going on.
I know this is live, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm interested in that because it would fit in nicely with what I already do. Honestly, I mean, there's, it's just a matter of, getting the right, you were talking about before, outsourcing or like growing, having that support. The reason why I don't is because, honestly, I just haven't looked. I'm so busy with what I do every day. And this is I've got the same conversation with people that are looking at my service too. They're like, especially if they're not doing video and they look to me to, and they're saying, hey, is video buddy going to help me? And I'm like, I don't know. If you're not shooting video, probably not, because if you're not shooting video, we don't have anything to edit, right?
Exactly.
And but they're like, yeah, but I really want to get into it. And so, one of the things that we don't do either is we should, and we're actually talking about, I don't like self-promotion either, but I'm actually right now literally partnering with one of my clients, and we are turning, we're creating a new product. We're literally launching it tomorrow, for the people that they're like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, this is awesome.
Because, I've turned away for at least the past 4 years, people, when people call me and say, would I be a good fit? I'm usually not a good salesperson when it comes to that, because I'm trying to find out literally if they would be a good fit or not. Because quite frankly, with the way that, the way that Video Buddy works, since we're working with so many clients, we have so much to do. That particular model does not have the time to, and nor is the pricing, reflective of being able to also coach and help direct what needs to get done. We expect you to, say, I've got this work and it's the bottleneck. If you don't have a bottleneck, Video Buddy's not for you, right? Yeah. So we're turning away a lot of these clients, and so we're actually coming up with something where we are going to tell them what they need to do through these live workshops that we're going to do once a month, and then give them, during this workshop, then we're going to they're going to have everything that they need so they can film and then give it to us and have my team. Anyways, long story short, I was going to get to the point of why I'm not doing anything is because I've never had that. I have the desire, but I've also like the time and what and how, when I'm already into that. And so, but when we're doing this live, like right now, I'm like, this right here, I already see the benefit of going live. How this, because this is so much easier than trying to sell something. You just tell people what you do. You're not selling anything. It's great. Can
I tell you a secret? I've never said this publicly. I've only told it one-on-one with individuals. So this is just for you, Jason, not for anybody watching. But live video, I've been doing this particular show for going on 2 years, getting there. And what it has become just blew my mind. It has become the most powerful lead magnet I've ever had in any business before. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you interview, this is the key. There's 2 keys, and this is like part of my signature talk. There's 2 keys to this. One is it's got to be of absolute supreme quality, the greatest quality you can possibly garner. And number 2 is you must absolutely do it in interview style format. Why is that? Because now when you go out and you're out and about, going to seminars, going to boot camps, going to Jason's live workshops, and you're talking to each other and you're saying, what do you do? Well, I interview successful entrepreneurs such as yourself. I stream it live to 7 platforms simultaneously. I then repurpose it to 25 podcast platforms. It goes on Roku and Amazon Fire TV that has 170 million viewers. And I've done this twice.
Who doesn't want that?
Exactly. And I've done this twice in live circles. I kid you not. I didn't get past the 7 live platforms. I'm not kidding. Everyone in the circle, 2 different occasions, one a group of men, one a group of women. Everyone was clamoring for their business card and shoving it in my face. And I thought, aha. Now, it doesn't matter what you do in your business. You will figure this out. I can help you on what you talk about. It doesn't matter as long as you're interviewing people in your space. Your guests even become your leads. That's not why I'm doing this, but it just happens.
Well, it's happening now. I'm already, like you mentioned what you're doing, and I'm like, just count me in, right? Because
I should mention it more often, I guess.
Yeah, you probably. Well, I agree with you about this interview thing, though, too, because also it kind of gives you star power, too, because you are in the limelight, and you're actually allowing, like the people that you interview are smart, so you're basically, you can ride the coattails of you can ride the coattails of that, and they kind of associate that with you. But, take a look at any newscasters. Like I was mentioning the Today Show. I mean, because I'm an avid Today Show watcher. And so, but, like Al Roker, he's a superstar. It's because he interviews people and he's a weather guy, but it's because he's in your face all the time. You're familiar with him. So you become a celebrity. So, if you're doing lives, or if you're doing like what we're doing, this is like, again, we have such, you and I have to talk after the show for sure, because you and I are kind of like going in the same direction of why this works. If you can get yourself out there and seen more often. Get yourself at least 3, 5, 6 posts a week on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff with good high quality content. And it's not always a promotion. It's not always this and that, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. Then eventually, again, if you're out there all the time, you are the one that's a branding 101, man. It's branding.
Yeah, it's all it is.
Yeah,
marketing 101 as well. It's both. Boudica, I wanted to give him another shout because he's been asking some questions. I know him personally. He actually is a phenomenal photographer and videographer, has a studio here locally. He took my headshot recently. So he asked, do you offer full productions to businesses too? And I don't know if you need clarification on that question.
I do. Full productions. You mean like we're actually filming and we're writing and we're doing we're actually a production company? If that's the question, no, we don't do filming. It's this is the Video Buddy service itself is you shoot, we edit is basically what it is.
Oh, that's perfect. That tells it right there. He does, and they do cater to businesses of what sizes?
The Video Buddy service?
Yes, please.
Any size that will hire us. But our client base is generally 10 or less employees, so a very small business. Because here's the thing: a lot of the bigger businesses are already going to have a video department of some sort because it's becoming that big right now. Social media video is where you have to be. We can't ignore this. And so there are some, companies that are larger. I'm trying to actually create, for anybody who's also a video editor, think about, helping the departments that are internally, like say, for example, we've got a huge company here. It's called Stryker, and they do medical equipment and stuff. They do the hospital beds. And I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. And, I don't know if they have an internal company, or internal video department, but I think that if they don't, they should, and so, maybe, because they do have some stuff out, but the thing is there's so much that's going on, and that from everybody has a phone in their pocket, if you had a video department and you had just stuff what's going on, internally with employees and with the CEO of the company and all that stuff, I think that if you've got a video department behind you that's able to help tell your corporate story. And again, these are not salesy pitchy. This is how you can attract world-class employees. I want to work there because look how much fun they're doing there. This is real videos that's been put together. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can use video, whether it's live or it's a snackable that's been edited and put together. If you can, man, this is how you're going to win this decade. This is how you're going to do it.
How you can repurpose and make use of. And it just goes so far beyond just the live video. So many times I get asked the question, well, how many will be watching live? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's the answer. I mean, to be brutally honest, it doesn't matter because the gold is going to be in the repurposing.
Yeah, totally. It
definitely helps. And don't get me wrong, but it's like, if 2 people were watching, it won't matter because the repurposing is going to get you far more exposure. And currently, that's just the case, unless you're a Gary Vaynerchuk or someone like that who has the huge following and huge name already, where he gets a lot of live views.
Now, how did he get there?
Exactly.
By having 2 people live at one point. Right? By having nobody watch stuff.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Don. I love Don. He's a gentleman, another local. Man, all the local people are coming out of the woodwork. This is fantastic. Yes, it does, Don. I so agree. Don is a great guy. He's the head of a chamber here locally where I live. And this guy gets it. He's always helping other businesses. I love Don. Great heart, great person. Same with Boudica. John, I don't know him personally, but I'm appreciative of coming on. Eliza, I know her from the Philippines. It's like, this is awesome. It's a friend fest. And we have folks on LinkedIn. It's just been phenomenal. We are at that time. And so there are 2 things left to do here.
Okay.
One is, I close the show out with the same question with every entrepreneur that's been on it, every single one. And the interesting thing is it's kind of a deep question, and it can be a heavy hitting question, meaning, I don't want to go too far into it. But before we do that, to close up the show, there's actually 3 things. I want to make good on my promise to show everyone how they can win that 5-night stay at the 5-star luxury resort, compliments of powertexting.com. You now have our permission. Both Jason and I give you permission to now take your gaze away from us for just a moment. You have to come back, though. Get out that phone, because what you want to do this very moment to enter to win is, it's now on the screen. You want to take out your phone and bring up your texting app. In that texting app where you put in the person you're going to text to, type in a phone number instead. Type in 661-535-1624. And then down in the area where you tap and send off your message and emojis and all that good stuff, all you need to do is type in 4 simple letters, and they spell PEAK. That's P-E-A-K. So again, that number is 661-535-1624, and then type in the message of PEAK, P-E-A-K. And we give out a vacation every single week. Compliments, once again, of powertexting.com. Phenomenal people, phenomenal company. I love them dearly. I know them personally as well. And that's just because through all these connections we've made over the years collectively, it's been quite a fun ride. So go ahead, do that really quick, and keep listening, keep watching, because this is a big question. And then ultimately, I'm going to turn it over to Jason real quickly to let you know exactly how you can connect with him directly, the best way. Let's make this, an easy path to get to him, and you can get to someone who will help you in your business. So that question, Jason, here's the thing. There's no such thing as a wrong answer to this question. It doesn't exist.
You're making me nervous, man. I don't know what this question is.
That should calm you. Actually, here, I'll put it this way. The only correct answer will be yours.
Okay. I'm ready.
You take those two, it's like, come on, bring it. Are you ready? You said you're ready, but are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Jason Anderson, how do you define success?
If you can look yourself in the mirror every single day and be happy with where you're at, that's success right there. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be happy about circumstances. We're all going through a tough time right now. I've got there are some worries. We were talking at the very beginning. The introduction was, I'm going to introduce a very successful person, and I blushed a little bit, because we're like, well, success sometimes doesn't exactly feel like you're on the top of the mountain all the time. But man, if you can smile and if you can have your health, and honestly, if you can just be happy, then that's success right there. I was asked the question, what makes me get up every morning, what drives me and all that stuff, is I just don't, I want to win. And so, and if I lose that day, right, I'm not really losing. I just lost that round, And so I think that what defines success for me is the ability to stay happy. And that's it.
Love it. Phenomenal. And before we close out the show, what is the best way for folks to get a hold of you? I'll bring up your site if that's what you'd like me to do at this moment, and we can use that.
Yeah. Because on the site, actually, there's a phone number on there. So if you want to even call, that will actually go directly to my cell phone. Now, that's not my cell phone. That's a redirect number, but it will ring my phone. So I answer I'm the sales guy. I don't understand. Oops. I'm the sales guy. I'm the head trash taker outer, all that good stuff. So you will talk with me specifically if you want to call there. And also, if you ever just want to shoot an email, you can just do it to jason@videobuddy.net.
Jason@videobuddy.net. So we've got that on the screen as well. So there is no excuse for anyone not to be able to find you. Videobuddy.net is the website where you can find the phone number if you didn't happen to write it down, but it is 407-845-9005. And you will get the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Anderson himself to answer after it goes through his team of 5 secretaries and 24 employees. And then you'll finally get to talk. I'm kidding completely. But he's got the system down. I can't imagine that. To me, I'm thinking this has got to be, I cannot fathom a business model, doing a successful business model like you have done. I couldn't. So you're a genius to pull this off the way you're doing it. I can't wait to get to know you more, your team, to work with you in the future. This has been a really fun, exciting show. It always will. Boudica says he's calling you, buddy. So right off the bat.
All right.
And then, thank you, Boudica. Look at this. Oh, he's making brownie points. All right.
All right, man. Yeah, Boudica.
Yes. He is truly masterful at what he does. So you guys will hit it off really well.
That's good.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us that have watched us live, that are either watching us recording or even listening on podcasts. Remember, 25 different podcast platforms. And we're going to be on Amazon and Roku, Amazon Fire TV. We are on there already, but this show will be on there as well. So I just want to say heartfelt thank you to you, Jason, for spending the time coming on here. You know, it's late at night there compared to here. It's 9:35 there. It's time to probably put the head to the pillow soon. But you showed up, and that's what successful people do. You always show up. And it's been a blast, buddy. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. This has been great. And I'd love to do it again, actually.
We might have to arrange that. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. I want to respect everyone's time. And I just want to say, stay safe, love your loved ones, spend that time, quality time, and really reconnect. I know you probably already have. It's been a while already. But just go out there and crush it and go serve people and help people as you go along, because that's what entrepreneurs to the core love to do. On behalf of this amazing gentleman, Jason Anderson, I am Brian Kelly, your host of the Mind Body Business Show. Until next time, we will see you again. Be blessed all.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.